Now for our first check of our forecast. Lots of people out there hoping for snow, but it's just been warm. Christian, what's going on?
The police had to act quickly here at JJ Court Apartments to make sure residents in the area were not in any danger. An acre is roughly the size of this field, so to put the fire size in perspective, just multiply the acreage by this and do it about 9,000 more times. Students at Ensworth Elementary School were sent home with this letter explaining to their parents what exactly happened today. Investigators are literally searching through buckets of pine needles and dirt looking for any evidence to clue them in to what exactly happened to Nicole Hutchings the night she was murdered. Take a look over here. This is what they're after, these vases that they can take to scrap yards and sell, oftentimes trying to get money to buy drugs. Now, something like this vase would only go for a couple dollars, so as you can imagine, they have to sell a lot of them to make a profit. Well, that's exactly what they're doing.
Why would anybody take something that is really and truly a family artifact?
Hard to believe, but true. Thieves now stealing from the dead, swiping things like these brass vases, all to turn a quick profit.
Yeah, we've seen a huge increase in metal thefts.
A lot of families have chosen to change some of the more expensive urns, and they have opted to do just a little tin urn like this.
Jerome Daniel owns several cemeteries in Central Oregon. Fortunately for him, he hasn't really been a target, but he's heard stories of those who have.
Actually, the thieves in that instance, the people that I've talked to were actually trying to take the metal roof off of a mausoleum. They got caught.
The problem here is nothing like what they've seen in places like Portland and Eugene, where somebody at one cemetery stole about 200 of these vases worth about 16 grand. At Gresham's Forest Lawn, 3 brass vases valued at $450 each disappeared. Then 42 brass vases worth more than 25 grand were reported stolen from grave plots in September. In some places, it's gotten so bad, cemeteries have been forced to bring in overnight security.
We've been very fortunate up here. I'm thinking perhaps it's because we have an open policy here, so people can actually come in and out of the cemetery at will.
The vases, cops say, are easy targets. Unlike guns or VCRs, they don't have serial numbers, making them virtually untraceable. The good news, brass and bronze prices recently plummeted from $2 a pound to 40 or 50 cents, meaning these vases, which retail anywhere from $75 to $200, won't bring in much at a scrapyard. And that's if they don't draw suspicion. Now, a lot of people believe the solution to this problem actually lies with the scrap dealers. That's why the Metal Theft Coalition is going to legislators asking for tougher regulations when selling things like these vases to those scrap dealers. Live in Bend, Molly Hendrickson, News Channel 21.
They put up extra signs 3 weeks ago for people not to attempt to do this.
Neighbors frustrated to hear of yet another drowning on the Deschutes River west of Lapine. Police say 2 people were canoeing this section of the water meant only for very experienced rafters when their canoe flipped.
One person was able to make it out of the water. The other person is missing at this time.
Up against swift, deep water and impending nightfall, rescue teams fanned out over the area, searching.
We may have a location in the water that we do need to check out and see if the person is in fact there.
This is not the first time these rescuers have battled these waters. Nearly 2 months ago in July, a Silver Lake woman died when the raft she was floating in went down the falls and she fell out.
We don't know what prevention there is other than the fact that
there are signs up.
There's signs all over telling people not to try to go over Pringle Falls in rafts.
Ted and his wife hope people will start paying attention to the warning signs before another preventable tragedy happens again. In Lapine, Molly Hendrickson, News Channel 21. This is the last place Nicole was seen, here at her family's home in 2004. For more than 2 years, they had been hoping that she'd come home. That is until last night when police arrived with some devastating news. More than 2 years ago, Robin Hutchings made this plea to her daughter, Nikki.
Nicole, if you're out there, please just get a hold of your mom and dad and just come home, please.
But Monday night, hope that her daughter would come home was shattered when police told her they'd arrested 2 men, Lauren Bowers and Craig Whiting, for her murder.
I'd like to sort of liken it to a jigsaw puzzle where you receive a little piece here and a little piece there.
Police say that puzzle started coming together when they searched the home of Bowers on Lone Cow Drive. That's when they say they found evidence, some of which led them here to this remote spot southeast of Sun River.
We have what looks like a burial site.
A shallow grave with what investigators believe are the remains of Nicole Hutchings. Investigators are literally searching through buckets of pine needles and dirt looking for any evidence to clue them in to what exactly happened to Nicole Hutchings the night she was murdered.
We're looking beyond that to see what else might be there. Clothing, buttons, purses, anything that may have been discarded at the time of this and may still be out here.
Police say they're still trying to figure out exactly why the two men would want Nicole dead.
Nicole may have been doing something or going to the police with some information about one of the suspects.
Police tell us it may have something to do with a case of child neglect. But one thing they say they are sure about, this was no accident.
And obviously by the remote site of where we're at here, there had to be some pre-planning, and that is the theory we're working under.
Now, police say they do believe a weapon was used, but they're not saying what type of weapon that was. And also, they say they'll be conducting more interviews, and they're not yet sure if more arrests will be made. Now, earlier today, News Channel 21's Kana Whitworth sat down with the Hutchings family. She has more on their reaction to today's news.